go, brownies. Here we go. Here we go, brownies. Here we go. Yeah, this for my dogs from the east to the west side. You rockin' brown and orange with me, baby. Let's ride. Represent the land, let them know. Tell them, here we go, brownies. Here we go. Yeah, here we go.
Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of the Here We Go Brownies podcast. I am Allie Ullery. I got to change my name on here. I haven't done that yet. I actually have to figure that out. It's kind of difficult. Joined with me, as always, out in beautiful Cleveland, Ohio. We've got Dustin. Dustin, how you living?
Good. I've had the same problem. I'll say my co-host Allie Ullery, because it's also hard because you had it for almost 30 years of your life, so it's hard to just switch gears and do that. So I understand. Allie, living good. It's a Wednesday in Cleveland. The weather here is like bipolar. It's 20, 50. It's kind of fun. Not good for dry skin, by the way. It's not. This is not for the faint of heart. If you want to, it's.
Well, I guess Dustin, we got to start calling on Neutrogena. Try to get them on as a sponsor. Could use them this time of year. But speaking of new sponsors, we have a new one, and we would like to introduce them to you. We're going to go ahead and kick off the show with our newest sponsor, Legacy Integrated.
That's right, guys. Legacy Integrated. With the new year around the corner, some of you may be looking to make some changes to your financial goals. Is generating passive income a key area you want to focus on? One of our newest show sponsors, Legacy Integrated, assists of individuals with hands-off, diversified investment options that target generative passive income. That's right. Email Brian at thelegacyintegrated.com with an email subject line passive income to schedule a free introductory call. Think about it. No trash, no toilets, no tenants. Their focus is hands-off, passive income, and they want to help you get diversified across private debt, private equity, and private real estate, and all those other sectors that could be kicking off your monthly passive income.
There you go. There you have it. Also want to give a shout out to our friends over at Stadium Mustard. If you don't have Stadium Mustard in your kitchen this season, you're doing it wrong. The iconic brand, the iconic taste, but love from ballparks to backyards and everywhere in between. Stadium Mustard is a smooth brown mustard, rich in both taste and tradition. By the way, it's loved by millions, so be sure to head on over to stadiummustard.com to shop now. We have a fun show for you tonight. As you can see from the title here, we will be welcoming Joe Haden onto the program. Really excited to talk to him, get his perspective on the way that the season has gone as a former player, and really talk about this past game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Obviously, he shares a very unique perspective in the sense that he's played for both organizations. So really excited to talk to him here in just a few moments. As always, later on, we've got the medical moment. We've got some things to talk about. So first thing that we'll talk about with David is, and this is just kind of segue into some Browns news, is Greg Newsome is out with a hamstring injury. It will likely require surgery, so we will talk to David about that here in just a little bit. But the next topic, the next kind of transactional piece here is that the Browns have waived Kadarius Toney. I don't think that really comes as a surprise to anybody, but I want to open the floor for discussion on that, Dustin, just because I think that Andrew Berry has a kind of a thing for going after guys, especially former first-round picks that have troubled careers and maybe, didn't pan out in the NFL, and giving, putting a flyer out on a guy like that. Now, while we can sit here and see kind of the benefit of the upside there, also it's cause for concern in terms of character, right? The character that you're bringing into an organization that does not have a foundation of winning culture. I think that that's an interesting conversation that I think that all right. Sorry about that. I'm back. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, my Wi-Fi just went out. I had to connect to the hotspot. Apologies to everybody. I don't know where I left
Okay,
off, what you heard, what you didn't hear.
and I thought it was mine, so I feel better now.
No, that's a technical issue. But we're back. We're live. We're here.
What? I was
Apologies.
like, I'm like, Allie's froze, but I'm moving, so that
Yep.
means mine must be okay. So
So I watched it on my phone because I always try to keep it up on my phone. The Wi-Fi just totally disconnected. So we're on the hotspot, so we're good to go. But back to that conversation of there is cause for concern of bringing in players with character concerns and like fairly extreme character concerns, um, and wondering why it's not working out. So I think if you ask anybody on the street, hey, is Kadarius Toney going to be successful in Cleveland? Most people will probably say no. If you weren't successful with Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City, are you going to come to Cleveland and play with Jameis Winston? Successful? Probably not. So I don't know, Dustin. I want to get your thoughts on that. I think it's an interesting conversation that we can have.
yeah, for me, like you said, Andrew Berry has not been afraid to take some flyers on some of these guys, some high risks guys, and just see if they pan out, right? Because I always say sometimes one person's woes in another place end up being great for another team, right? We just know that. But here's the thing: it was a very low risk situation for Andrew Berry. We got him off of waivers, if I'm correct. Am I not mistaken on that?
That is correct, but you did have to get rid of Jalen Darden,
right.
James Prochet. So while it was low risk, you still had to make roster moves to bring him in.
Yeah. So a good point. So yeah, you're getting rid of one of your guys that you have to dump off the roster. So yeah, there was some risk versus reward. Now, I don't know. I know we released him, so that means obviously that opens up another spot on the roster. I don't know. It's one of those. I think. I don't know. I don't know why he picked him up, honestly, because obviously when we did pick him up, we weren't in a competitive space, for winning the division or a playoff spot. So I don't know if he was just taking a flyer to see if he might be a good fit into the future, and then said, "Hey, after the debacle in Pittsburgh, okay, I saw enough. Goodbye." I think maybe that was it, to see if he'd be worth a roster spot for next year. I think it's what Andrew Berry does a lot of times, is he's trying to fill the back end of a roster with key components, and he plays a little bit of a chess game a lot of times. We know this. He takes one of these over here and there, and I think that's more of what he was doing, just to see if he might be a long-term fit versus a short-term fit, and I think he got his answer. So I think Andrew Berry does that as a whole, and I think that's his MO. But
yeah, but I mean, it does come at a cost, right? Like, it's not free to do these things. It's not free to your organization, obviously. It's not free to the team. You bring in somebody with those concerns, and like I said, the Browns team currently, they don't have a foundation of a winning culture. Now, while I think guys are still bought in to a certain extent, you can't look at this team and be like, hey, this is like the Kansas City Chiefs, where they have no tolerance. There's a standard. Or the Patriots back in the day, the Buffalo Bills, the Detroit Lions currently. This is the Pittsburgh Steelers. I hate to say it, but giving them credit where it's due, they have a winning culture. They expect to win no matter who's on the team. That currently isn't the case for the Cleveland Browns. And to bring him in and kind of the gelling with the other players, it's an interesting thing. It's not a free thing for Andrew Berry to get creative in this moment. And I think it is somewhat telling of where this team's going to go next year. Obviously, there are some things that have to happen next year. A lot of moving pieces and parts. This team is going to look entirely different. That's what I'm understanding. But it still comes at a cost to bring a player like that in. It works sometimes. It worked with Kareem Hunt because Kareem was a very good football player. But to bring in somebody to kind of revive their career, but also hopefully that you can revive them as a person, that's an interesting thing to do at this point in the season.
It is, and you could tell that there's still some character issues, because he was chirping, prior to dropping the ball, and so there's clearly, some stuff going on.
He threw a football at another player. Like, it's just, I was listening to Andrew Spade talk, and he had a funny thing. He said, if it's funny to me that at this point, myself, anybody on the street was more correct about this than the Browns general manager. And, it's just kind of a funny thing. It's like I said, you can go up to anybody and say, hey, is Kadarius Toney going to be successful here? You're going to say, no.
Right. Yeah. Well, again, that's the crazy thing, because you look at some of these players and you just, like, again, I always go back to the thing. You're always trying to build your best roster, and you're trying to do it as efficiently, hopefully, as you can, because you have a lot of pieces to fill in a roster, right? And to your
Mhm.
point, the Kareem Hunt, the risk versus reward was worth it back then. We didn't know at the time, right? We didn't
Yeah,
know if he would
sure.
just continue to be what happened in Kansas City, and obviously, but clearly he stayed true to being a model citizen while he was a Brown, and contributed heavily to, even to the point where Nick Chubb said, "That's my guy. I love him. We're friends."
Yeah.
So much so that when he got released, he's back with the Chiefs. So
Right.
you just don't know, right? Because, and I think that's the Browns and a lot of other teams take those risks because, well, I mean, I'll use this example. The Denver Broncos said goodbye, Russell Wilson. He is toxic, and or not, maybe not toxic, but he just is not a fit for this organization. He doesn't fit what we're trying to do here, and we thought he was our savior. And then you just ship him for a bag of potatoes, basically $1 million off to Pittsburgh, and the next thing you know, they're number one in the division, because clearly Mike
Mhm.
Tomlin said, "Oh, I can work with that. Absolutely, I can show him the Steeler way." And he's revived his career. And we've said on this show too, and said, we actually joked and laughed. He said, "I can't wait for that to blow up." Right? We sat here and said that, and it didn't
Yeah.
blow up. It
No, it
actually,
didn't. And you
we
know what?
actually,
I give the Denver Broncos all the credit in the world for doing what they did, making at the time arguably one of the worst trades in the NFL, in the history of the NFL. We know now. we own that title, but at the time it was a really bad trade that they made with Seattle to bring Russell Wilson in. It was a dumpster fire in Denver. They identified that. They moved off of that. They took the hit, large dead cap hit, but they're still going to make the playoffs this year. They go
right,
out, they draft a rookie quarterback, and they're still going to make the playoffs.
right,
It paid off for them. And in a similar way with the Giants, they identify Daniel Jones isn't it. They move off. They're going to draft a quarterback in this upcoming draft. Now, will they make the playoffs next year? Obviously, that remains to be seen. They have a lot of young talent. I think that they are on an upward slope at this point now that they've identified a
I
quarterback
agree.
problem. I give them credit. I am excited for the day that the Browns can identify a mistake, move off of it, bring somebody else in. And again, we can have podcasts dedicated to that. But to identify the mistake, move off, get rid of that negative energy, that dark cloud above them, go get somebody and make the playoffs the following year. Kind of a refresh button. Now, it's not ultimately a huge refresh because you're still carrying the dead cap. You're still accountable for that trade. You're still accountable for that contract for the next several
Right.
years. You're still going to feel the hit on that. And I'm not saying that the Denver Broncos are going to go win the Super Bowl, but they identified the problem. They addressed it. They bring a new guy in. Bo Nix is having a great rookie season, probably one of the front runners to win Offensive Rookie of the Year, and they're going to make the playoffs. I give them a lot of credit.
Well, and here's the thing, like, I mean, this is the model in the National Football League. If you can find or hit on a quarterback with a rookie-friendly deal, and you have some pieces and parts around him, you can be a very successful organization. The Commanders. I mean, there's models out there that the Browns aren't going to be a woe me type of organization if they can get this right. Now, I am of the belief we're really bad. We're really bad, other than like 2 out of 20 drafting a quarterback. So if I'm at the National Football League draft, I'm screaming, please, please do not draft a quarterback in this first round, because it's a lot of pressure with the Deshaun Watson and everything circling behind him. That's a lot of undue pressure, I think, for any quarterback that has to come into that organization. But I think we do need to have a bridge quarterback, and it's just because this quarterback draft is just not deep, and I don't know if they're proven enough that they can play at the next level. Now, I could be wrong, and we could be sitting a year from now and say, man, we should have taken Ward. Man, look at him blowing up the NFL, putting up MVP numbers. But that's the problem. You just don't know. And like I said, you're about 1-4 of these quarterbacks typically you hit on in the National Football League. So it's just one of those things.
It is. I don't know what the answer is. We've talked about this. I do apologize to everybody if I'm having some technical issues. Dustin, if you don't mind going through a couple of sponsor reads, I'm actually going to hop off for a brief moment and reconnect my Wi-Fi. I think that's going to solve the audio trouble. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. If you want to give a couple of reads, have at it.
Yeah, you got it. So, guys, she's just going to reboot real quick while we go through some of those things. But hey, guys, just want to give a quick shout out to our friends over at the Hartville Marketplace. That's right, the Hartville Marketplace and Flea Market down in, that's right, Hartville, Ohio. Check them out. They've got the Winter Wonderland going on right now, which is super awesome. Great time to go down there and visit all the wonderful things going on with their winter displays and all the fun activities they have for the entire family down there, which will be a lot of fun. So go check them out. Also, they do a lot of Cleveland Browns signings down there with Primetime Sports, but a lot of cool things down there in Hartville, just about an hour from Cleveland, about an hour from anywhere in Northeast Ohio. So go check them out down there in Hartville, Ohio. Guys, also, if you haven't checked them out, I know a lot of you guys have been able to travel with True Fan Travel. That's right, True Fan Travel. They actually put on the Browns New Orleans trip, as well as the Las Vegas trip that I got to take in. But they are a great partner of the Here We Go Brownie Show. But what's great about them is they have amazing other types of trips that you can take any time of the year. If you're a baseball fan, soccer fan, any other kind of sport, go out to truefantravel.com and check out all the cool, amazing trips that they have. That's at truefantravel.com.
There you go. There you have it. And I'm back. How's this? Can you hear me okay?
Great.
I don't know what happened. Just the Wi-Fi went out, and I tried to connect to my hotspot, and then, I don't have great service on my phone to be able to, stream this. So we're good. We're back. We're live. And Jason, I just needed a drink. That's it. We're back. All right. While we're waiting on Joe here, Dustin, I just want to get into a couple of other things league-wide. We see, unfortunately, that the Browns are having a very down season, but that also kind of just highlights some of these other teams that are going on to make the playoffs. And I have a question for you. The Browns just played the Steelers. They obviously lost, and they have kind of the reverse of what the Steelers' record is. We have 3 wins. They have 10 wins. How good do you think the Steelers team is? I've seen a couple of national media outlets saying this Steelers team could be a Super Bowl contender. I simply beg to differ. And I hate that this is the reality, but I want to talk about it. Like, do you consider them in that category?
No. Well, no. And I mean, I don't mean to jump quickly on that because I think they're a good football team. But no, I mean, when I look at and quite honestly, maybe if they were in the NFC, I could make that argument because they might match up and be able to. You have the frickin' Lions over there, who I think is the best team in the NFL right now. But
frickin' Lions.
The frickin' Lions. That's right.
Frickin' Lions.
But here's the thing. No, because you have to get through Buffalo. You have to get through Kansas City.
Yeah.
No, do I think they're a playoff team? Absolutely. But I mean, I don't even know on a good day if they can beat the Ravens, right? I mean, because the Ravens are a two-headed monster with good quarterback play and Derrick Henry, like in a playoff game. I don't know what that looks like, right? So, no, I don't. I think they're a playoff team, but I mean, come on, let's pump the freaking brakes here. A Super Bowl team? No. I mean, are they good? Yeah. I mean, are they great? No. Now I will eat crow. I mean, I thought they would be the 4th ranked team in the AFC North.
I did too. Yeah, I did too.
And they are clearly the first team. Now, do I think they could? Now, here's the other thing. Let's just be completely transparent. The Steelers have a gauntlet to get through the final month of the National Football League. This is not going to be a good road for them going forward because let me tell you, they are not going to have. I mean, they got Kansas City. They've got some big opponents down the stretch here. They're going to lose some of these games, and I think that will probably knock them into a wild card versus an actual play game. Versus like a 6 or 7 seed versus an actual division winner, because I think Baltimore can still win this thing, and they'll kind of have that say down the stretch, because what is
So,
Baltimore going to do? They're going to run the ball and do what Baltimore does.
I mean, at the end of the day, when we're looking at the AFC, I think when you look at the NFC, it's the Lions and the Lions only, right over there. No, I take that back. You have the Eagles that are really on an upward trend right now, but there's some turmoil over there. We saw what AJ Brown had to say about his quarterback. It's kind of weird. When you look at the Lions, they're buttoned up. They're good to go. They're scoring an enormous amount of points every single week. But when we look at the AFC, you've got the Kansas City Chiefs, who I think are obviously one of the best teams in the league, if not the best. But definitely struggling when you look at the standard of Kansas City. I wouldn't, like, if you were to give me the 2020 or 2021 Kansas City Chiefs, like, I would take them any day over this current team. They're doing just enough to win every single week. They're not blowing teams out like the Lions are. Then you've got the Buffalo Bills, who I think Josh Allen's having an MVP season. He's probably the front runner to being the MVP of the league. Then the Baltimore Ravens, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like, what is the path in the AFC? Like, who do you think? My bet is Detroit probably makes the Super Bowl, or the NFC Championship game with the Eagles and the Lions. What do we see?
Don't jinx them. Don't jinx them.
I know. You're right. I'll tone it down over there. But on the AFC side, like, what is the path here? Who does the AFC run through? I guess is my question.
Right now, and this is a hot take on my part.
Ooh, I love spicy takes.
I think the Super Bowl runs through Buffalo, and what I mean by that is Josh Allen not only can beat you with his throw, but he can beat you with his feet. And what I mean by that is if it's a wintry and you're hosting a game and you have to beat Buffalo, and Josh Allen can run it in. I don't know. This just seems like a different Buffalo team this year. I don't know why. And man, after that track meet they had the other night against the Rams, well, clearly they can put up 40 some points. For sure, right? Like, yeah. That's crazy to me. Like, I mean, there was 84, how many points were combined in that game? It was crazy.
Yeah, I was insane. It was like 44 to, I don't know, but it was crazy. It was crazy. I'm really interested. I'm curious to see how the playoffs are going to play out this year, for lack of better words. While we're waiting on Joe here, just a couple of other some of our other friends to talk about. I want to tell you about our friends over at 5 Iron Golf. Guys, this is where golf is inclusive for everybody. Whether you're just getting started, you're a seasoned vet, or maybe, it's a rainy day or snowy day in Cleveland, Ohio. You want to go hit some balls, head on over to 5 Iron Golf. You can get your practice in. You can go play some really cool courses, food, drink, whatever. They have it. Be sure to go check them out. Dustin, why don't you tell our listeners about our friends over at City Barbecue? Are you talking? Hey, Dustin, you're muted.
Let's try that again, guys. I coughed and forgot to turn the unmute button.
Tough show.
The wonderful show of live podcasting. So yeah, City Barbecue, 6 Northeast Ohio locations. Check them out. And if you're coming to our Christmas party this Saturday at the Barley House, they will be providing a holiday ham and some wonderful sampling of their food that they have for the holidays. So that'll be a lot of fun. So yeah, check them out. Great place for catering, all those wonderful things. Yeah. If you love City Barbecue.
We have a question here from Shannon. Will Allie and Dustin be attending the party Saturday? Allie will not be. Dustin will be. Dustin, why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about that event?
Yeah, so guys, our friend Hanford Dixon, Top Dog, will be there. Bob Golick, we know a fan of this show, really likes Bob Golick. He's a daily listener into his show. That'd be Troy, I believe, that is a big fan of Bob Golick. But and then we'll have also Anthony Griggs, Browns player, and Felix Wright will be joining the party. So, by the way, guys, there'll be a lot of giveaways at this party from our sponsors like Stadium Mustard, and folks will have gift cards. So, I mean, definitely show up because that's going to be a lot of fun. But more importantly, you'll get to have some Here We Go Brownies whiskey and some Here We Go Brownies wine to sample from our friends. So really, Allie, and Allie, you probably already know this, and my thought process behind putting the Christmas party on is our fans have given us so much during this time that 4+ years now the podcast has been going on. our people and our fans have given us so much. It's kind of a give back to them, if that makes sense, as a thank you for supporting us, and just basically a time to be festive, especially in a season when the Browns are 3-10. It's something to look forward to other than Browns football. We can all, because guess what? Last time I checked, Browns are undefeated at tailgating and undefeated at fandom, right? Like we are
That's true.
here, we are here, win or lose. So really, it's more of a gathering of fans just to really come out, enjoy, and take in all those festivities.
Yeah, that'll be really cool. Yeah.
Side note, Allie, question I have for you is, did you see the latest release? Because I thought this is probably a topical thing for a show tonight. Did you see the latest release from the Browns on the stadium, the development around the stadium, what they're planning on doing? I know we're both pro dome, but what did you make of that? Looks like the same configured amount of seats. So I know this was a big thing with Buffalo when they went to the new stadium. People were losing seats. It looks like this will have the same amount of seats inside, all that kind of stuff. Just curious what your thoughts are on the new stadium.
Look, I don't doubt one thing about Jimmy Haslam. Say what you want about Jimmy Haslam and the Haslam family. They spend money, and they are willing to spend money. They have been willing to spend money on players. They have been willing to spend money on things. And one thing that I don't doubt is that this experience, the stadium experience, is going to be great. It's probably going to be elite, one of the best in the league. And if I know anything about Jimmy Haslam, he's a very flashy guy. He wants, maybe he's not to the level of Jerry Jones necessarily, but he's going to want that whatever this facility is, that it is top-notch, state-of-the-art. And I think it's going to enhance the fan experience. Now, I know a lot of people, what they're going to say, right? The Muni lot, tailgating, we are an AFC North team. This is what we do. We play in the snow. And I totally hear that. I totally understand it. But what this does for the rest of the city, the economy of it, bringing in other events, I think it's going to be great. And I think if we can, look, guys, if we can go into every single season with an open mind with this team, we should do the same with what this stadium is going to be. Going in with an open mind, I think we're going to be pleasantly surprised on the experience.
Yeah, well, and here's the thing. I don't know if you saw that the architect that's going to be designing this is also the same one that designed the stadium in Minneapolis, SoFi, and Dallas Stadium. So it's a pretty well-renowned architect, right? So obviously, I don't think it's, because they always say, is it going to, that's the biggest worry. You build this thing and then you don't like the design of it or whatever, and it's not what you want the fans to be. But I'm at least impressed, like you said. It's a very thoughtful process is what I'm saying, I guess, at the end of the day, because it's like you're going out and getting the best designers, the best architects, because you want it to be a first-class facility. And I can't fault him for that. You know what I mean? Because like he's going out and quite frankly, he's doing, I don't know if another Browns owner would invest this kind of money in Northeast Ohio. Like you said, Ali, he's not afraid to spend money. I don't know if the Lerners would have rolled out their own personal cash or investors to put a stadium like this, the former owners of the Browns. I just don't know if that would have been a thing. You know what I mean? I just don't know if that would have been a thing.
I do. Also, I know a lot of you are waiting. We're waiting on our good friend Joe Haden to join the program. If you're a loyal listener, you know that just a few months ago, the same thing happened, and Joe did not show up on us. So Dustin, because I love betting. What are the odds that Joe Haden shows up tonight? Or did we just embarrass ourselves again by leaving the title as Chatting with Joe Haden?
Well, I've texted him, and he did confirm yes. What's that?
Well, I said we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. We're just gonna hold out. So if you guys are in the comments waiting on Joe, we're optimistic. But until then, we are going to do the medical moment here in about 5 minutes. While we're waiting on Joe, and just for the sake of this podcast, I'm going to throw a couple of questions at you, Dustin, that I was going to throw at Joe. How about that? And I think one of them goes back to the conversation that we had earlier, right? And it was about Pittsburgh and their winning culture, their foundation of winning culture in Cleveland that really doesn't have that. And while we hate everything about the Pittsburgh Steelers, hate them with everything in our souls. One thing that we can respect about the organization is they know how to win. They've done it with Duck Hodges. They've done it with Mason Rudolph. They find ways to win. They expect to win. And I do respect that from them. All right, we got Joe Haden. So let's go ahead and bring on our good friend Joe Haden. Before we do so, this is brought to you by our friends at Lorello Vineyards.
Here we go, Brownies. Here we go. Woof, woof.
Hello, welcome to Lorello Vineyards. Larry and Kim Lorello. We have a beautiful Here We Go Brownies wine that we would like to offer to you this season as we did last season. We have several other award-winning wines, lovely entertainment and events coming this summer. So come and see us, wine a bit, you'll feel better.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you at the Muni lot this fall. Go Browns.
All right, let's bring him on. We've got Joe Haden. Joe, how's it going?
What's going on? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you? Thanks for taking the time for us.
Oh, don't doubt. I'm doing well.
Well,
Hey,
Joe, I had to
Joe.
wear this tonight. I had to wear this tonight to make you feel.
Joe, I gotta ask you. I saw on your Instagram that you were having a good golf time at the Golf Classic. Can you talk to me a little bit about that? I'm a huge golf fan. I'm a big time golfer. Talk to me about that experience. That looked really cool.
Oh man, so I'm really cool with one of my boys. O is really good friends with Steve Harvey, and Steve Harvey is actually from Cleveland. You know,
Yeah.
he's a big Browns fan, and I got the honor to go out there and play in this golf classic. We actually played some paddle ball. He had Evander Holyfield out there, Sugar Ray Leonard, Mary J. Blige was out there, Taraji P. Henson. It was an amazing event. They had a gala. We did some golf. We did some paddle. It was a really, really good event, and I just got back, so it was so much fun.
I was gonna say, I looked at all the stuff you were doing. I was like, that looked amazing. I was like, is he gonna be back in time for the podcast? Because he's like halfway around the world. So I was like, so I'm assuming Steve Harvey was there as well, since he's the one that was putting it on. Was he there as well, or as part of the event?
Say that one more time.
Was Steve Harvey there as well? Was he at the event?
Oh yeah, he hosted it. It was his event.
Okay,
So
yeah.
yeah. He was the one that hosted it. He was there for the whole thing. He was he was there.
That's really cool.
Nice.
That's really cool. And if I'm seeing it correctly on Instagram, you got, what is it, Best Dressed?
Yes, I
Yeah.
won best dressed at the golf event.
That's
So
awesome.
it was at the gala. They presented the awards for the winners of the tournament: the first place, second place, third place, and then they had the best dressed. That I actually took home the hardware for that one. So I was really
Oh, I
excited.
love it.
I didn't win. Or we didn't win first, second, or third for golf, but I won with my attire. So I'll take that.
Well, you know,
Classic.
Joe, you know what this is going to cause? This is going to cause a controversy, and I know I'm going to make you laugh with this, because Eric Metcalf goes around always talking about how he's the best dressed. As you know, Metcalf dressed to the nines, so now we can have a little competition. Who's the best dressed between Eric Metcalf and Joe Haden? Because they always like I always feel like I'm always underdressed when I'm in the room with Eric. So that'd be kind of fun.
It's really hard for me to hear you, Dustin. I'm sorry.
Oh.
It's like I'm breaking up.
Uh-oh.
Oh, sorry.
Joe, are
Can
you
you-
able to hear me okay?
I can hear you pretty clearly.
Okay.
Okay.
Dustin, I'm not sure if you want to check your volume. Joe, while I have you, while we're still talking about golf, I want to ask you, as it pertains to the NFL, any of your former NFL colleagues that you've played with, who is the best NFL golfer that you've had the opportunity to play with?
I would say it is Patrick Peterson
Hmm.
and Ben Roethlisberger. Those are the
really?
two. Yeah, those are the two players that I play with that actually have been better than me. Everybody else that I play with, I'm either better than or probably like right we're right around the same. But Pat
Interesting.
Pete, he's a stick. He's around like a 5 handicap, and Ben is also a really good player. He's probably like 5 or 4 handicap. So
wow.
like those two, yeah, they're shooting in the 70s consistently, and I'm in the 80s. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the 80s. Like my handicap's I'm around like 11 of 11 to 13. So I'm not too bad. So I'm in the 80s. But those dudes are shooting 70 golf every time in the high 70s, 77, 76, you know what I'm saying, like consistently.
That's crazy. I just don't understand. How can you be so good at so many things? You know, you can be an elite NFL player, and then just an elite golfer. That's so impressive. Joe, I want to ask you. You know, kind of shifting gears here, talking about football. Obviously, you have the unique perspective of playing for both organizations, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Cleveland Browns, and obviously the Browns and the Steelers just played. And Dustin and I were talking before you joined about, you know, while as a Browns podcast, you know, we don't love the Pittsburgh Steelers, but one thing that we can respect about them is their winning culture. What is it? What was it like to play for both organizations, and what was the contrast there? And you know, just in your experience, you know, we're seeing what the season has played out to be, and the Steelers are winning, the Browns are losing. You know, how can the Browns get that figured out?
I spoke on it a lot, like a lot. I think one thing is, the first thing it starts off with the is organizationally.
Mhm.
They just haven't had a head coach. Like they've had the state is stable. Coach Tomlin's been there for a very, very, very long time. They just switched with their general manager with Kevin Colbert. I think it's
Mhm.
just he's there. You're gonna get a leader of men. He's the best head coach that I've ever played for in any sports. I mean, high school, college, professional levels. Just the way that he can lead a group of men. He's able to know offense, defense, and special teams. And it's just from the top down. I think the way that the general manager, Mr. Rooney, they give him the freeness to be able to lead the team the way that he wants to lead the team, and not be able to make the decisions and not have to worry about watching his back. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I think that's one thing. Being able to keep their talent there. If you're a really good player there, the T.J. Watts, the Cam Haywards, the Minka Fitzpatricks, the dudes, the Ben Roethlisbergers, being able to have those dudes, that play for your team for a very long time, that are able to be consistent and that perform at a high level. So you can show the younger dudes that come in there that this is the way. Follow the Cams, follow the TJs, follow these dudes. This is the way that the Steelers run their organization. This is the way that we get stuff done. And their best players are their hardest working players. I think that's one thing what the Browns are doing too. Also with Miles, with Nick Chubb, with Denzel Ward. You have the talent there, but I think you need to kind of have the coaching there. I mean, not like you don't have it, but just the consistency of having the same people around, the same voices, and getting that in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. We talk about this, Ali and I have on previous podcasts. Winning cultures and losing cultures are hard to change, right? And those are just things that they're just hard to flip the switch on. And, you played for many years with the Browns, and you played with some losing, teams and some losing seasons, and then you had some success. And it is a culture thing. I've always said it's just a culture thing that's hard to change, and consistency, and alignment with all the players in the organization. I mean, that's why the New England Patriots were great for so many years. Like you said, the Pittsburgh Steelers, these organizations that stay, and the fact that, I mean, I think, what have they had, 4 or 5 coaches in their entire existence, which is crazy to think from a Steelers perspective. Uh, but my question is, like, what is it like on game days in the Haden house? Obviously, you have children that probably rooted for you, like, on both sides. Like, what is that like? Because you want both teams to, because you have friends on both sides. I'm just curious what it's like to watch a Steelers game and Browns game. It's such a unique perspective because not a lot of Browns players have played for both organizations. So I'm just kind of curious what that's like watching on game day, because it's got to be kind of unique.
Yeah, yeah. When they play each other, it's a little weird, but I want to see good football. I want to see the best team win. I want to see both of them have great games. I want to see the Browns score points. I want to see, I just want to see a great football game and people be successful. And then when the ball ends up, when the Browns win the game, you know what I'm saying? I'm winning kind of both ways. Where the Browns win the game, I'm like this, they won the game, good job, they deserve it. The Steelers won the game. You want to just kind of see the result and then be able to watch it and realize like how it happened, break down it, and how did the Steelers end up winning the game, or how did the Browns end up being able to win the game? You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of, I'm coming from it from an open perspective to see like, dang,
Mm-hmm.
there it goes. They're expecting for the Steelers to beat the Browns in the first time they play this year, and then the Browns win. Like it's like, okay, Jameis Winston had a great game. The Browns can beat anybody. You know what I'm saying? That's not the question. It's just any given Sunday, can you come in there and do it every single week?
Right.
Yeah, I want to talk about that a little bit. And, you know, Joe, you were on some some bad Browns teams. You were on some good Browns teams, and then obviously you went on to the Steelers. You had some success there. At this point in the season, where the Browns currently have 3 losses, we're late in the season. As a player, how do you, kind of motivate yourself? How do you continue that buy-in? What's that like, especially during a bad season where it's just not going your way? How do you keep your mind right?
Um, that's when it comes with the professionalism. At the end of the day, you have a job to do. You're an NFL player, you're getting paid to play the game. And I always say, your tape is your resume. There's never going to be a reason when you're on the football field and the down is being played. I'm not out there playing at a high level, doing my job, making a play where it needs to be made. So that's just where it's like we need to go out there and win the game, execute to a high level, period. But no matter what, when we're out there, why would you not be able to be playing at the highest level? Because end of the day, no matter what, it's somebody's job. You're out there trying to, you're at a resume, and this is your job resume for the next 30, 31 teams. You don't know if you're going to be with the Browns, and this is your resume for the other teams to be like, if you get chopped after this season, what does your tape look like? So I think for me, I would never want to put bad tape out on film, and I just would be, that's just not what you do when you're a pro. So I think for me, the motivation at the end of the day, my tape is my resume. I'm a baller. I'm going to show it's not my fault while we're losing games. When we look at this tape, when we come in on Sunday, if we do end up losing, it's not Joe's fault. We're going to see great plays. We're going to see effort. We're going to see me getting to the ball, and we're going to be able to look at other dudes and point to the direction of, like, this is, we need to get him out of here, and he needs to be able to make some plays. So just being able to stand on your tape and make sure, like, this is what I do. I'm a baller, and it's not my bad. I'm not giving up.
Yeah.
It's interesting you mentioned that, Joe, because when you were out in Vegas, when we were out there for the Vegas game, with our friends over True Fan Travel, it was interesting. You brought up something that really was kind of eye-opening for you when you came into the league. And one of the comments you made is, when a guy comes in that plays your position, it almost puts your antenna up to be even more focused as a player, because that guy at any given time can come in and take your position. So it gets back to your professionalism that you obviously were talking about. Like, this guy that they just drafted in the 4th round could literally take my job this year if I slip, if I fall, if I don't be the best player I can be. So I thought that was very interesting when you brought that up, when you were doing that talk. Like, look, there's a guy right there, if I don't bust my ass, is going to come right in here and take my job. So I have to play at an elite level, at a high level at all given time. And I thought that was really interesting, that you really have to play and have that mindset, because it is a business. And at the end of the day, if you're slipping, there's a guy ready to come in, because these are all, professional athletes, and they're vying for your job. So I thought that was very interesting how you just kind of correlated that, because I remember that you talking about that in Vegas.
I would think with young guys, you wouldn't really know the business of the game like that on your first contract. I was coming in there really on the first one. You're just trying to prove yourself, prove that you deserve to be in this league, and want to show everybody I deserve to be here. I'm going to grind my tail off, and that's working to get your second contract. Then once you're in there, it's basically you're proving yourself every single week, because once I got my second deal, they're trying to wait for Denzel Ward to get drafted to get me up out of there. You know what I'm saying? Like, the next rookie, there's always going to be a next Denzel Ward. There was a Joe Haden to a Denzel Ward, to there's going to be someone like the Newsoms, and you know what I'm saying? Like, there's always going to be a new corner that they're trying to draft to be that number one guy. Like, no harm, no foul, but the game is continue to go. The door's going to open every single week. So when you see that draft coming in, there's a new wave of seniors that are coming in, or underclassmen that are amazing, that are coming to take your spot every single year. So it's not getting any shorter. Just that next class is up, and then it's a new wave of guys that are coming in. So you got to understand that the quicker that you realize that the game's going to pass you by faster than you realize it, you better stay on your stuff. You know what I'm saying? Then the quicker you realize, like, I have no time to be sitting here waiting or chilling or acting like I'm good. You're never really too good.
Yeah. Joe, that's funny. Actually, they just read my mind, because my next question to you is actually about Denzel Ward. I wanted to get your perspective on him. I think when Denzel's healthy, he's a top 5 corner in this league. He's playing very, very good football. I want to just get your perspective on Denzel as the player and what you like most about his game.
Denzel Ward, I think he's one. Him and Patrick Surtain are my two favorite corners in the game right now. Technique wise, and just when they're out there, they can do everything. They're not afraid to press. They can play off. They're able to stay square in their back pedal. They're not afraid to run. They can go deep. They have speed. They have ball skills, and I feel like they study tape also. They play the game not just out there just he's not going to catch the ball. I'm not really understanding what the situation is. They're situationally aware and they're out there like chilling. The game is slow to them. And I feel like they're never panicking. They're never trying to grab. They're never really just reaching and all over the place. They're moving their feet and they are at the top of the game. So I feel like Denzel Ward and Patrick Surtain, those two dudes are just technicians of the football game. And when you watch them, I'm like, what those are dudes that people need to watch the tape of and be like this. That's a cornerback. That's how you play corner.
So, kind of a two-part question for you, Joe. My question for you is: you were moving through high school into college. Who did you try to emulate your game after? Right? You know, who you looked up to and who you tried to emulate. And then with the Heisman Trophy race and what you see happening in Colorado with the player playing both ways, want to get your unique perspective on someone like that and what that could mean at the next level and what that would look like him playing X amount of plays on defense and offense. Just curious.
Well, we'll just go to the Travis Hunter joint then. I think that it's looking good. I mean, for me, I'm a big Travis Hunter fan. I mean, I'm really, really happy about what the Boise State running back is doing. I just think that with endurance wise and seeing what Travis Hunter's being able to do on both sides of the ball is unbelievable. I know for sure I couldn't do it. I think that I'll be able to play a little quarterback, you know what I'm saying, a little DB, a little both ways for sure back in college, but I wouldn't have been able to do it at that type of high level. Like we had Percy Harvin on my team, and there was a reason why I was able to move. They moved me to the defensive side of the ball because I wasn't as electric as those dudes over there. I thought I might have been, but I wasn't. So him being able to be like a number one wide receiver at the top level of college football, and then top cornerback at the same exact time and just make it look so easy and so effortlessly. That's something that I've never seen before. And my only thing with him is I would love him to be, I think, I don't know. This is me. He could do whatever he wants. This is Travis Hunter. But who am I? Let me just give my little humble opinion here. I would think that if Travis Hunter, he could be a number one cornerback, maybe one of the best cornerbacks to do it. And then as receiver, playing 70%. I just want him to be able to study tape. And I think he loves the game so much that I want him to get a full study of the defense going into the game, the same way he's going to get to study the offense going into the game. So like that's my only thing. I want him to be able to know the film of the offense going in. Like I don't want him to have the package. I want him to go in there with at least 70% of the plays because all receivers sometimes they rotate, they come in and out. So he's going to be in there first, second, third, or maybe second to third down for sure on the wide receiver out there, one or two, basically 70% of the snaps and playing every defensive snap. And this is the other thing. It sounds a little crazy, but if you get him as a rookie, you're going to take two bangs for the buck. How much are you really going to give him the rookie deal? And you're going to be able to get 4 years out of the best athlete in the NFL for 4 years, and then figure out like, okay, for the next contract, you know what I'm saying? We're going to get him right. But that's what they're going to do anyway. So I'm just going to say that's what I would do, and you can max out on a baller both ways, on the low end, where you can get like the best of the best, a $30 million receiver and a $30 million corner for we're paying what you be getting $5-6 million a year for the first 4 years. Sign me up, coach.
I mean, it's crazy. And because of that, I mean, you get just max value with a player like that, obviously. Because of that, I mean, is it crazy to think Travis Hunter is number one overall in this year's draft class?
I would say if you need a quarter, I mean, if you need a quarterback, if you need a one, but that's what the only thing. If you need a quarterback, that's the thing. If you don't have a
Of
quarterback, you don't
course,
have a
yeah.
chance. So you think Shador Sanders, Ward, one of those guys, but if not, he should go three. Like he's going to go one. I mean, the two quarterbacks, Ward and Shador, and I'm picking him at the three latest.
Yeah, because right now
Like what? I
Jacksonville
mean, what
holds
do
the
we
number
like?
one
If
overall
the
pick.
corner. You're going to pick a corner at 5. What you mean you're not going to pick Travis Hunter at 3? For sure,
I
I'm
mean,
picking Travis Hunter.
Denzel Ward went number 4. It's crazy, and that's what I'm
Denzel Ward
thinking.
went for
Yeah,
I love Denzel Ward. And if you can get a Travis Hunter with a Denzel Ward and using him as as your second wide receiver, maybe number one, I'm taking that yesterday.
it's crazy. It's crazy.
So,
Joe, I'll get you.
yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Dustin. Sorry.
Yeah, so Joe, I think you may know this, but I'm from Boise, Idaho. So I love that you gave Ashton Genty a little love there for the
Oh,
Boise
for
State
sure.
Broncos.
If it wasn't anybody else but Travis Hunter playing both ways like this, he actually like. If it being honest, I mean he's broken more records. Like he could get it, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just like I've never seen this before. I'm going Travis Hunter. I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
can see why somebody could give it to him,
Yeah.
honestly, but I'm not.
Yeah. So my question to you is, with the Browns and their quarterback situation and everything, someone like Genty could fall to the Browns at number 9, 10, right? We'll say 8, 9, 10. Could be a once in a generational back for the Cleveland Browns. Would you draft a quarterback, or excuse me, a running back at the 9 or 10 position that you could align with Nick Chubb next year for that 1-2 punch and have somebody possibly for the next 6 to 8 years at running back? What's your thoughts on that? Because that's kind of,
I would use breaking up a little bit.
oh, as I say, would you, if you had the Browns pick like 8, 9, 10, would you go after a quarterback, or excuse me, a running back like Ashton Genty, if he's available, that could be a 1-2 punch with Nick Chubb?
Yeah, I would definitely get Genty. I mean, if you had the 8 or 9 and there's not the first things first, best, Shador or Ward. Like the main
I
thing,
agree.
as we always say, the coaching staff, all of that stuff for sure, for sure. But all these teams, you have to have a quarterback. And we still haven't had a quarterback. Like I mean, we wanted to, we went hard with Deshaun with the contract and everything. But like, if we can get a young rookie, I mean, I know 8, 9, but if we can get up, I mean, we got to get a quarterback. But if we don't move 8, 9, I'm not mad at Denchi because having two great running backs, and he's young. He's young at the best, and we're going to be able to get the best out of him. I think that'd be great because I think he's the same thing. It's just Nick Chubb 2.0, younger. You know what I'm saying? Ready to go, coming in thirsty, ready to prove himself. And I think he's going to be a baller for a very long time.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think if you can go out and get a generational player, whether that's Ashton Genty, or you can get your hands on a guy like Cam Ward, Shore Sanders, or I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibilities that if there is a run on quarterbacks, that maybe somebody like Travis Hunter is available, depending on where the Browns were to fall. That's not totally out of the realm of possibilities. You have to take, you've got to get that guy, because Joe, we saw what this Browns team is like with a healthy run game, with a healthy offensive line, and that's been their identity maybe the past couple of years, even prior to Deshaun Watson. When you had Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb, they were able to do kind of a variety of things. The marriage between the pass and the run, we've kind of gotten away from that a little bit, obviously for several reasons that I know I could spend 20 minutes on. But if you can go get an Ashton Genty, or in opposite, maybe you get a Cam Ward or somebody like that, it solves a lot of things pretty quickly. Oops, sorry, Dustin, I'm blocking that out. But that's my 2 cents on it. Joe, get you out of here on this one. George asks, do you like playing in bad weather? Do you like playing in the snow?
Say that one more time.
Do you like playing in bad weather? Have you enjoyed playing in the snow?
Not at. I mean, I wasn't the fan. Honestly, I wasn't the fan of playing in the bad weather. When you get cold, I like being able to play. Well, good. I mean, obviously, because you can get your grip, you can run faster. I just know blurred vision. It's easy to catch the ball. But I think the one thing is, I would say I'd rather play in the snow than the rain. Those games are more fun. It's a little more grip. The snow's not as bad. But I'm just not a cold weather fan. I really don't like the cold. I mean, it's something like, oh yeah, but you played in Cleveland and Pittsburgh. I'm like, yeah, that doesn't make me like the cold at all. That doesn't mean that I liked it. That means I had a job to do that was in the cold. Like, that is did you get
So,
used to it? No, you don't get used to being freezing.
so it sounds like Joe would be pro dome in Cleveland for the new stadium.
This is what I'm saying. I'm not mad at people that are like, yes, the football weather. If you enjoy the cold, I know people that actually do. But and for me, I'm not against it. I just
Yeah.
like put natural grass in there. Keep fresh
Oh,
grass in there. I'm against like turf. I don't like turf as much as I like playing on natural grass. Natural grass is way better, less injuries. That turf just gets real sticky. So I'm really natural grass inside of the dome. So if they put that natural grass in there, that'd be sweet
There you go. There you have it. Joe, this was great. Thank you so much for taking the
yeah.
time for us.
for sure, no doubt. Y'all
We
have a
All
good
right.
appreciate it. Hey, take
Have a
care. Thank
great
you so
week,
much.
Joe.
Go Browns.
show. Go
Go
Browns.
Browns.
All right, that is Joe Haden. That was a lot of fun. Apologies for any of the technical issues. Just one of those nights, everybody. Before we welcome on David, and we'll go rapid fire here through the remainder of the show. I know we're kind of up against it, but who cares? We had Joe Haden. So, Dustin, I'm going to turn it over to you real quick to give a shout out to our friends over at Western Reserve Distillers.
That's right, guys. Western Reserve Distillers. If you haven't checked them out, they are in Lakewood, Ohio. That's right, Western Reserve in Lakewood, Ohio. On Wednesdays, it's half price wine, 50-cent wings, and also $12 flights of whiskey. Who doesn't want that? And also, they will be at our Christmas party this Saturday. So come check out the Here We Go Brownies whiskey. Check them out. Come enjoy some whiskey. But Western Reserve Distillers, and by the way, they don't just have whiskey. They have rum, they have tequila, they have all the other different wonderful organic type of liquors that you can enjoy.
All right, there you go. There you have it. Let's bring on our good friend of the program, also my husband of the program, Dr. David Ullery. David, how's it going?
It's going great. I am indeed your husband. How are you?
You are the husband of the show. David, I
Newlyweds,
think
technically newlyweds still. We could call you newlyweds still.
yeah, it's true. Getting into it here, I know there hasn't been a ton to kind of talk about, and that's a good thing, right? But the most recent news is Greg Newsome with a hamstring injury. I'll turn it over to you. This is an injury that he has had surgery on before, so I'm curious to get your perspective on this.
Yeah, that's the most pressing thing for sure, and the most relevant thing this week. He states during the game last week he felt a pop in the back of his leg, which anytime you feel a pop anywhere is usually a bad sign. But specifically in this leg, where he's already had this hamstring surgically repaired earlier this year before the season began, so a little concerning, a lot concerning, I should say. Could it be just a partial injury? Absolutely, but I mean they put him on the IR, and we don't know why. Whether that's just to shut him down because we're not making the playoffs, and it's just let's get him healed, let's get him recovered, so he's back fully ready for next year, or that might mean he's actually going to need surgery again. I haven't seen any news or reports on what an MRI may have shown. If it's just a partial injury, where maybe just one tendon tore, if it was just partial tearing, maybe he got lucky and it can heal it on its own, and they just want to give him the proper time to do that, or the repair could have failed or pulled through that repair, and he may need a revision of it. And the concern with that is, as we know, just in general, with soft tissue injuries, these can be lingering. They can take a long time to heal from. And surgery such as this in the back of the leg has a relatively high complication rate compared to other ones that we've seen. And so the hope is he doesn't have to go through another surgery, just because anytime you try and repair a tendon a second time, it gets tighter, it gets stiffer, it's harder to get back to where it's supposed to go. And so that's a little concerning that, whether it needs grafting or other augments to make it heal and work. And so hopefully, partial injury, he can get some therapy, maybe some PRP injections, platelet-rich plasma, which can help induce healing in that location. And hopefully we see him back ready to roll for next season. But being on the IR at this point, I mean, obviously he's going to be done for the rest of this season, unfortunately.
Yeah, we're at this point in the season where, obviously they're not going to do anything. The Cleveland Browns, we know that they're not eligible for the playoffs this year. At this point, you do want to see some of these young guys being able to step up, like Cam Mitchell, see what you have out of them. So, sending our best to Greg Newsome for a full recovery. But it's great, too, in the sense that we are able to see some of these younger guys. David, what else you got?
Yeah, so I mean, similar vein, something to look out for this upcoming weekend is Njoku. He also sustained a hamstring injury. It sounds like his isn't as severe. He hasn't been placed on the IR, but he is listed as did not practice today with a hamstring injury. And so we'll see if he practices tomorrow and Friday or not, because if not, he's likely not going to go against the Chiefs. So as you alluded to, it's an opportunity to see some younger talent and see what's kind of on the depth chart and see if there's other options or, even trade pieces for the future. But Njoku is one to look out for. Miles didn't practice, but it was for a personal reason, so it's not injury related. And then Joel Bitonio did not practice with the back injury, and he's been dealing with that all season. I imagine that he's just getting some spasm in his back and it's tightening up, but it's probably just a day off for him. Maybe it was even planned, and I'm sure he'll get some reps later this week and be good to go for the game on Sunday. Otherwise, Mike Hall looks to make a return this week. He was limited in practice, but he did practice after his knee injury, and so there's a good chance that we see him back in action this Sunday. And hopefully we get Cedric Tillman back as well.
Yeah.
Hopefully he can clear the concussion protocol and be back on the field just to fill in case Njoku can't go. Obviously different positions, but just to have that depth. George, for JOK, nothing that I've seen or heard. No news really, at least pressing that I've come across that has any sort of objective prognosis. So I mean, last we talked, it was just kind of up in the air. It's all about making sure he gets better, just as a human, and then seeing if we can get him back on the field. But unfortunately, I do not have an update for JOK at this time.
Yeah. All right. There you go. There you have it. David, anything else? Anything else you got tonight? Sorry to go so fast, but you know.
And it's
okay.
and it's a light week, not a lot of injuries too. So there's always that.
It's good. That's a good news. That's nice.
It is. And I mean, you guys had an awesome guy in the show earlier, and it was a really good segment. I had fun watching that.
Heck yeah. All right, David. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it as always. Go Browns.
Go Browns.
All right, that is Dr. David Ellery. That is the medical moment. Before we get into our game picks, also want to tell you about our friends over at Lady Caroline Cruise Ship. Guys, if you're looking for something to do, head on over to Lady Caroline Cruise Ship. You can see awesome views of Northeast Ohio, Cleveland. Dustin, I know you've done this. Great experience. Be sure to check them out. While you're at it, with them, go check out the Greater Cleveland Aquarium. A really cool family-friendly event, and we know upcoming your Sundays won't be busy, so be sure to head on over to the Greater Cleveland Aquarium where you can check out some of their really cool exhibits. All right, you ready to get into it? Make some picks. We haven't done this in a while, Dustin. We've been a little busy.
Yeah. Did we know how I did last time, or we?
Yes, I do. Now we've taken a couple of weeks off, obviously, because I got married and stuff, and then I was in Arizona for work, so we had to take a couple of weeks off. But I went back and I calculated everything. Unfortunately, you did not win the last time, so I am still up on you. I have 7 wins on the season, 0 losses to you, and we are tied 3 times. So we start another week. Now, I know we've missed some time, but that's okay. Let's get into it. Let's start with, let me get everything pulled up here. Sorry, everybody. I am not organized. Way back here. All right. Tomorrow night, Thursday Night Football, Rams at Niners. Who are you taking?
Rams at Niners. Ooh, man. Well, here's the thing I do know. And I know the Niners are all over the place, but I do know this about teams in the NFL. They typically will, teams will score a lot of points, and then they're kind of they don't put as much output in the next game. So I'm going to go Niners in this one.
Okay, go Niners. I'm going to go Rams on this one. Let me write that down real quick. All right. And then on to the Commanders at Saints.
Commanders at Saints. Commanders.
Chiefs at Browns.
Browns, I'm going to pick that they don't win, and then they'll win because that's what the Browns do. Weird things happen. It's going to be a rainy game, and I do know rain games, snow games kind of changed my but I do think the Browns will keep it competitive. I do think it'll be a competitive game because I think Winston's going to be entertaining again out there on the football field. So I'm going to go Chiefs in this one.
All right. I'm going to go Browns. I don't know why. I'm going to go.
There's a hot take by me. All right.
Bengals at Titans.
I think the Bengals are starting to find their way a little bit. Give me the Bengals.
Yeah, I mean the Bengals here. Dolphins at Texans.
Texans.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Texans here. Ravens at Giants.
Ravens and Giants.
Ravens at Giants. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Ravens here. Also, Jets at Jags.
Jets and Jags. Oh. Give me the Jets.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Jets. Just Mac Jones isn't it in Jacksonville. Cowboys at Panthers.
Cowboys at Panthers. Wow. They're both grease fighters.
Yeah, it's not good. Look, the Panthers have been a little bit. I mean, they keep games close. They really do.
Yeah,
they almost beat the Chiefs. Yeah, like they are a
Yeah.
competitive team.
You know what? They haven't been eliminated from the playoffs technically, right? The Cowboys are not officially eliminated. They're kind of there's a chance.
They're about to be.
Yeah. You know what? Give me the Cowboys, but yeah, give me the Cowboys. I just think there's
All
more
right.
talent on that team.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I wouldn't be surprised if
Nope.
the Panthers win this game. Bucks at Chargers.
I think, man, they're both kind of fighting for a playoff spot, so it should be a really good game. Give me the Bucks.
Okay, I'm gonna take the Chargers in this one. I will give you the Bucks, and we've got the Colts at the Broncos.
Broncos, they're playing well.
Broncos, Patriots at Cardinals.
Cardinals. They're fighting
Cardinals,
for a
yeah.
playoff spot.
This is gonna be the game. This is the game of the week. Bills at Lions.
Ooh. You know what? Give me the Bills. This could be a Super Bowl
agree.
matchup. This could be a Super Bowl matchup. Yeah.
I was just telling David, I think the Lions, I feel like they're due for a loss, and this is a
Right,
good
that's
game
fair.
for them to lose. And that way they go into the playoffs with a little bit more relaxed, in that sense. So I'm going to take the Bills in this game. Steelers at Eagles, the Battle of Pennsylvania.
Steelers at Eagles. I think this is where the Steelers are going to come down to earth a little bit.
Yes.
And it's an inter-rival state kind of thing, like the Battle of Pennsylvania. I think give me the Eagles in this one.
Yeah, Eagles. Packers at Seahawks. Sunday Night Football.
Give me the Seahawks just because it's the 12th man and they're fighting for a playoff spot. Give me the Seahawks.
Okay. I'm gonna take the Packers in this one.
Okay.
And then we've got two Monday night games. We've got the Bears at the Vikings.
Okay. Easy. Vikings.
I'm gonna take the Vikings, and then Falcons at Raiders.
Falcons. Raiders are done.
Yeah. So are the Falcons though. But that's where we're at. That's what we got. Dustin, anything else before we wrap up?
No, just checking. It looks like Niners, Chiefs, Chargers, Seahawks. That's what I got to have for this week. So
No. You took the Niners, Chiefs, Bucks, and Seahawks. I took the Chargers.
Sorry, Bucks, not Chargers.
Yes.
Thank you, Bucks and
Yes.
Seahawks. Those are my that's my bingo card. Got it. All right, perfect.
Yep, that's what you got.
All right.
Any closing thoughts as we wrap up on a beautiful Wednesday evening?
No, just looking forward to Taylor Swift coming to town, being the distraction of all Cleveland. Just kidding. No, I'm looking forward to actually. I'm a Browns fan, but you don't get to see marquee games very often in your town. I think this will be interesting to see Patrick Mahomes up close. I mean, I got to see him last year, was it 3 years ago when we were in the playoffs, but I'm looking forward to seeing just really good talent out there on the football field. And I'm hoping the Browns come away with a win, even though Oh, that was the other one I didn't pick. That's right. I didn't put that one down because you took the Browns, right? You took the Browns.
I did. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I do. Yes. Yeah. Well, no, you had them down. Niners, Chiefs, Bucks, Seahawks. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Chiefs. Yeah. But but no, I'm looking for an entertaining game this Sunday. I think the one thing after going to that crazy snow globe game, I think this will be a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. It should be. I'm looking forward to it. But thank you everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. Stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, Browns fans, go Browns.